What's happening, folk? Vegas Venturer here. Decided I'm going to do a little video today. I'm just going to drive around Henderson. Figure this would be good for people particularly that might be interested in moving here or something like that. They may just want to get an idea of what it feels like to just see the town outside of the strip, which is usually what most people know. So I'm going to drive here. I'm going to go over to my gym and I'm going to take a little break there because I'm going to go work out, and then I'm going to complete the video after that. Today I'm driving the Dodge Challenger here. It's not my vehicle. My vehicle is in the shop, but recently, a couple of times as I've rented cars, I tend to rent this one because I really love this car. Quite surprising to me because I'm not really a Chrysler fan, but I just love the speed and handling of this car. So let's go. So basically I'm here at the Lowe's here in Henderson, in the heart of Henderson here, down basically off of Warm Springs and Marks. I'm going to drive back through relatively my neighborhood to get to the gym, and I'll give a little commentary as I drive. Volkswagen 70 something. So things to know about Henderson. Henderson actually, let me ask you a question. In Nevada, the largest city is Las Vegas. What is the second largest city in Nevada? So with that lead up, you probably are going to guess, but I think most people would think Reno. However, the second largest city in Nevada is actually Henderson. Some things to know about Henderson is Henderson and Las Vegas used to be separate towns, and they basically grew into each other. They have separate downtowns, they're about 20 miles apart, and there used to be true separation between the towns. Now you literally can't tell the difference from flowing in from one into the other. There's basically 4 municipalities that make up the greater Las Vegas area, and that is Las Vegas itself, North Las Vegas, Henderson, and I would include Boulder City. Now Boulder City actually technically has a little bit of separation, I would say about 5 miles of actual open land between the two, but they're so close, and considering that Lake Mead is so tied to the Las Vegas area, and that's kind of the gateway to Lake Mead, I would definitely include Boulder City as part of the metropolitan area of Las Vegas. So, if you hear silence, folks, it's just I'm generally just showing you the scene, so I don't have a whole lot to say the whole entire video. Hopefully this is helpful to some. So I'm down right now in Henderson again, but I'm in Green Valley, which is the particular subdivision of Henderson. That's where I particularly live. It's a rather large area that's considered Green Valley. There's a little history to this, like something you'll hear, and I don't hear it so much anymore, I think because there's so many new inhabitants and it's not that important to them. But when I first got here, you'd hear people say either they live in Henderson or they live in Green Valley. And I started asking, what's this about? And found out, I guess apparently back in the old school days when Henderson was more of a separate town, that people didn't want to admit they lived in Henderson because Henderson was considered podunk and not so sophisticated, is what I've been told. And I guess there were parts of Henderson that were ran down more toward the central downtown area of Henderson, and so people didn't want to be affiliated with that when they moved to Henderson. And so there was this master plan subdivision created sometime, I think, in the 80s. Don't quote me on that. That was called Green Valley. And it was a new marketing, a way to market Henderson as being something new and different from the rest of, or this particular section of Henderson was different than the rest. So you'll hear people sometimes that you'll say you live in Henderson, they'll correct you and say, no, I live in Green Valley. Well, it's ludicrous. If you live in Green Valley, you live in Henderson. But if you live in Henderson, you don't necessarily live in Green Valley. So there's that. Still in Green Valley right now, about to leave Green Valley, just up the street here. To my understanding, I think Green Valley pretty much ends across American Pacific over here. I could be wrong. I don't know the boundaries necessarily. Other than the easternmost boundary, because I live so close to it, is Gibson. Gibson's the end of Green Valley. Right now I'm on Stephanie Street, one of the major roads here in Henderson. Not a very big street, but a very bustling with a lot of business activity, a lot of growth right now. This whole area I've seen grow hugely since I've moved here. Homes over here to the right, they're relatively new. They just built these in the last couple of years. Apartments are new. Everything right here in this next block on the right is all new. And then this block here on the left coming up with all these businesses, what Carl's Jr. is, that's new as well. It's really been blowing up over here. And let me get ahead of all these cars. As you can see, the Challenger can get up. 305 horsepower base model. You can get up to 700 some horsepower with the Hemi, which is ridiculous because this thing is so fast already. I don't know who needs more than 305 horsepower. I can just lead people like it's nothing. Look at that. I'm going up here to the gym. Which is EOS Fitness. Used to be Gold's Gym. All the Gold's gyms closed down and got bought out by EOS here in town anyways. I know there's Gold's Gym still open elsewhere. But yeah, EOS closed down. I mean, not EOS, Gold's Gym was bought out by EOS here in Las Vegas. Fantastic Thai restaurant. It's called Thai-licious. Turn down here, let you see it. Give them an endorsement, even though they didn't ask for it. I'm not getting paid or anything like that. It's just one of the better Thai restaurants I've been to, and as it's called Thai-licious, it's delicious. It's, I don't know, I would say it's a little bit of a unique style of Thai, but I love it. It's a little cafe. It gets pretty busy pretty quick here, so sometimes you gotta wait. Not too long though. Really friendly people. It's only been here under 2 years. Weird thing is they're closed on Mondays, which is a strange thing to me, but there you go. Also my favorite bike shop, McGee's. People I deal with for our bikes. This is a very competitive type of gym, you might say, in a sense. Lots of very fit people. Lots of hotties. There's no way around saying that. folks, I'm gonna go and get a little workout, and I'll see you on the flip side. All right, folks, back from the gym. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take you for a little ride on the funky side. Let's straighten that out a little bit. Get a little bit more field view. There we go. Anyway, I'm going to drive down to Green Valley Parkway and take you down to the southernmost point of kind of south central Henderson, I guess. I don't know if you'd actually say that, but that's the best way I can envision on the map. It should be basically a straight shot down I-15, because there's a part of Henderson that borders that where like the M Casino is. So speaking of that, there are so one thing you may not know about Vegas is that Vegas, outside the Strip, everyone thinks the Strip when they come to Vegas, but there's a lot of casinos off the Strip. And even, so I would divide those in basically two different categories. I would say there's basically big ones and small ones. You could even say mid-sized ones, but I'll just go big and small. So the big ones are going to be pretty much casinos almost the size of the ones that you see on the Strip. And then the small ones, small to mid-sized ones that are going to be, the mid-sized ones are going to still be like a casino floor. Probably won't have a hotel though. And it won't be a huge casino floor. Might have an eatery or two inside, that's about it. The small ones are usually very small. They're going to be a lot of times just a strip mall space, one slot in the strip mall space. They will probably serve some drinks, but obviously there won't be a hotel, and there necessarily won't be any food either. These are places like Dottie's. Dottie's is a chain of casinos like that. There's a lot of little small dinky casinos, I won't even name them. As far as down in Henderson, our major ones, the big ones, the only ones I'm going to name, that's going to be Sunset Station, which was right over by where I was at when I started this video. Right across the street, actually. And then there's Green Valley Ranch Casino, Station really, Green Valley Ranch Station Casino, another part of the Station chain. There's a bunch of Station casinos here. And then there is Fiesta, and the only other one I can think of in Henderson, it's a big one, is going to be the M. The M is technically in Henderson as well. That's probably between Green Valley and that one, that's probably the nicest one. Sunset Station's pretty nice as well. That's the closest one to me. That one has a 64-lane bowling alley, 13-screen theater with an IMAX, probably 8 to 10 restaurants, including all of them have a fine restaurant. Almost every casino has a fine dining sort of steakhouse usually. So yeah. So as you can see, the sign there says Green Valley Ranch. Just another part of Green Valley. Green Valley is very modern, much newer. All the homes, with the exception of one area I can think of, are all pretty much built in the 90s or newer. That's what I love about Vegas, is most of the town's been built in the last 30 years, so it's very modern, very new. I had met someone recently, and she had told me that she didn't like Vegas because it was so old. And I was like, did you leave the Strip? And she said no. And I said, well, there you go. You can't say the city's old. That's absolutely quite contrary to the reality. It's almost all brand new. here to your left is the Henderson Pavilion. See if I move the camera. And it's just an outdoor space with a little concert venue. They can do small concerts at. Tend to do small concerts. I've never really, I don't know if I've even been there during a concert before. Sometimes in the summertime they'll have like a certain night of the week they'll do free movies out there, and they'll invite families to, you know, it's just like an old movie, and they'll have people come out watch on the grass, I guess. And to the right over here, actually more pretty much straight on to the right over there. You see my finger on the can. That is Green Valley Ranch Casino, and to the right here is the District, which is a outdoor shopping mall they built probably 12 years ago. What's going on with this light? So I realized I have to be somewhere in about a half an hour, so I'm probably going to have to shorten this video. And I think what I'm going to do is, since Henderson's so big, is I'll consider this one the western perimeter of Henderson, drive you along the boundaries pretty much between Vegas and Henderson, and then I ought to do another one to more of the eastern boundary. Pretty much this whole entire quadrant, I would say the whole southeastern quadrant, is a really nice area of Henderson. There's not really a lot of bad areas of Henderson, to be honest. And even what might be considered bad, I'm not even sure necessarily bad, if not more aesthetically not pleasing, I guess, or not pretty. There's a lot of, especially over by downtown Henderson, there's a lot of older homes. Some ran down, some not taken care of well, ran down yards and so forth. So, but this part that I'm driving through, you're going to see nothing but newer developments. Vegas, if you haven't spent any time here outside of the Strip, which is, I say that because so many people come here and they think they know Vegas because they are on the Strip. That's like going to Kissimmee and saying you know Orlando. Oh, they're building some new condo townhomes over here. This town's forever growing. Forever growing. Everything you think you knew will change as well, especially near the Strip. But anyways, as I was going to say, this town has horrible driving. Absolutely wretched driving. But I have found a place, and I thought forever it was the worst driving I had seen other than in 2 foreign countries I'd been to. And now I have found a place in the United States that's worse than Vegas. It actually makes Vegans look like docile drivers, actually. And that's South Florida. South Florida has the most hideous drivers I've ever seen, maybe anywhere. Maybe anywhere, maybe even outside of foreign countries, outside of foreign countries. And it's because I think Vegas and Florida have the same demographics for the most part that are similar. Both have a lot of drivers from all over, so you have this kind of medley of driving. And Vegas has a lot of Californian drivers who are pretty aggressive in the way they drive. And Florida has a lot of New Yorkers, which I can't really speak to their driving so much, but big city people, I don't know, I'm gonna guess that adds a certain element to it. Also, a lot of tourists. Both places have a lot of tourists, so you have people who don't know where they're going. They're looking around, not paying attention, lost, whatever. And then you also have a lot of vice. Now, our vice tends to be drunken, drugged out people enjoying the city. Whereas in Florida, I don't know about that part of it, but I'm gonna say their vice is probably, which goes to my next point, that makes Florida probably a little worse than Vegas, is there's a high elderly population. And you know, nothing against elderly, I'm pretty much getting there myself. But nevertheless, some people probably shouldn't be on the roads anymore. And they especially shouldn't be on the roads, back to the vice part, while they're doped up on pills from pain medicines. So, yeah, you really have a recipe for horrible driving in Florida and here. But it really is noticeably worse in Florida. Because at least there's some sense of mannerliness here. Whereas in Florida, no, it's mass chaos. now up basically, now I might have it wrong, it may not be officially Seven Hills, but we're pretty much in the Seven Hills area of Henderson, which is named after, I think, an Italian area of Italy, or some city in Italy, I should say. But yes, this is a newer area, relatively. I'm going to say probably built in the last 20 years. Okay, just Seven Hills, there's the street, Seven Hills Drive. It's also, I get kind of confused in the areas up here. I don't spend a lot of time. This is not direct to anything, so you have to be going out of your way to come up here. So I'm going to say this is also part of Anthem. Those are new. Those look just like some apartments over by the gym I was just at. Same style, must be the same builder. These ones in front of me look new too. I haven't been over here in probably, because I travel so much, I'm not in Vegas, but probably 4 months out of the year anyway. And it's been that way for going on 2 years now. So, and then considering this is not direct to anything, you don't go through here to go anywhere. So you have to be coming over here for a purpose. And so I haven't been over for quite a while. I came over here just to ride my bike. So, or to come to some schools. There's a couple of schools over here. I used to be a basketball ref, so I'd come to a lot of the schools. Been down by the Henderson Airport. Yes, there's a separate airport in Henderson. Henderson Executive Airport, I believe is what it's called. Oh, there's the new Costco. I just recently learned there was a new one down here. I hadn't been to it. Don't know if I ever will. I'm sure I will by accident one day, but I have one within blocks of my house, so there's really no reason for me to come to this one. I'm gonna move the camera here real quick, or turn it. So down that way, it's pretty much the far end of Henderson. And this is where the new Raiders practice stadium is going to be at. I'm sure they've started building it, but I haven't been down there to see. And pretty much, it's right down there. I'm trying to see if we can get a peek of the M. I'm not going to go that far because I'm running out of time. But yeah, you can see the M down there. It's pretty much past this big mound of dirt. It's kind of hard to see. The M's down that way. I'm going to take a right onto St. Rose Parkway. This, to my knowledge, and is the dividing line between Vegas and Henderson, is what I understand. So pretty much this side I'm sitting on right now is Henderson. Across the street, you're in Vegas. And I might be off a little bit because it might zigzag a little bit toward the left side over here, which is south. And now I'm going to head back toward, going straight toward Vegas as well. If you keep going this way, you'll end up in Vegas. I'm going to go all the way to the boundary here, which, so we're on the western boundary of Vegas Henderson, St. Rose Parkway, which after we cross the 215 up here, we will be on Pecos. This road becomes Pecos. Everything's new down here. Everything, I've probably seen half of what's built around here since I moved here 11 years ago. That's been built. see both license plates here. I don't know if you can see the one to the right, but the one in front of me has the Knights on it. The other one has a Knights frame. Everyone is Golden Knight crazy. It's our first major sports team here. I'm not a hockey fan. I do like the gear though. I think it's pretty slick. I'm a little disappointed in the name. The Golden Knights, when we're the Silver State, really seemed like a big opportunity missed to showcase the state, especially with the Raiders coming. Because now the Raiders, they are black and silver, so that goes with the state. I think it would be good if, I would still like to see them make the switch. Plus they had problems, and I think they're still tied up in a court battle with the Army Golden Knights, because the Army Golden Knights feel like they stole their emblem, name, so forth. So why not just make it easy and change it to the Silver Knights? Or just the Knights, and still go with silver instead. And then you'll sync up the color scheme here in town. This doesn't make sense to me. Why the Golden Knights would be the Silver State just really is maddening to try to figure out why they did that. But I guess someone who's not from the state. But then why did anyone in the state not stand up? Things that make you say, It's like this Buffalo Bills fan here. Like, who is a Buffalo Bills fan? I mean, especially after the way the Cowboys would up in 2 Super Bowls. And I take a little jab there because I'm a Cowboys fan. All right, I realize I keep adjusting things, so I'm gonna drive back home because I gotta be there in about 12 minutes, and I'm gonna come back and finish this other portion of the video. At least this western boundary portion. So I'll at least let you see me drive back here. You can get an idea of what it's like to drive from, basically, again, I'm on St. Rose. Across the bridge up front there is going to turn into Pecos. I'm at the 215, which is the bypass around the city. At one time, when I first came here in '95, I had a girlfriend whose mom lived down here, and this was all surface streets. There was no freeway down here. If you wanted to travel anywhere down here, you had to drive just across regular surface roads. So this used to be, I believe, Lake Mead. There's Lake Mead Parkway and Lake Mead Boulevard? Oh, I forget the two, which is kind of confusing, but this was the southernmost Lake Mead. The other ones still exist. So you're gonna get a good view of Green Valley Station Casino, which I couldn't really show you earlier because it was being blocked by buildings, but it's this big tan building right here to the right. It's a beautiful casino. It's nice. It has everything, like all of them. One thing is, in Vegas, one thing in Vegas is that we spend a lot of time at casinos, even if you're not into gambling. Like myself, I'm not a gambler. I've barely gambled since I've been here. I'm gonna say 6, 7 times in 13 years, or sorry, 11 years, going on 12. But almost all entertainment is tied into the casino, into the casinos. So if you want to go to the movies, casinos. Bowling, casinos. Restaurants, a lot of restaurants. I mean, not all, there's a lot of restaurants out of the casinos. Actually, some of the better ones, but still, restaurants, casinos. Shows, casinos. And sometimes even a lot of expos and stuff are put on at casinos. They'll usually do them in the parking lots and stuff like that. So our lives here are really tied into casinos, even if you're a person that isn't into gambling or partying. So there's really almost no way around it. It's one thing very unique about Vegas. You're going to be going to casinos if you like gambling or not. different way because I took Stephanie here. I will take Gibson back. There will be a little bit of different camera footage instead of repeating what I showed earlier. A lot of the mountains have snow on them, which the mountain in front of us, the big mountain, kind of one to the right, one to the left. The whole big range to the left is the Sheep Range. The one that's to the right is French Mountain. That mountain is quite the steep climb, but very not technical at all. There's actually just a dirt road for antennas servicing to go up to it. If you're interested in a beautiful hike, good exercise, I would suggest taking that one. You got to go to Lake Mead Parkway in relatively Hollywood almost to get to the trailhead. It's a little bit east of Hollywood. It is very steep. It will wear you out, but it only takes about an hour to get to the top, and the views are amazing. You can see 360 around you, which gives you, it parallels the strip, so you get a great view of the strip. But also on the other side of the mountain is Lake Mead, so you get to see 360s of the whole entire valley. I think probably anyone can do it. I would carry poles, because poles help you come down a little easier. There's a lot of loose gravel, but it is tiring. It is very steep. So this is the Auto Mall. It's one of the bigger, it's one of the conglomerized where they're all the dealerships together. I would say it's probably the best dealership in town, the best area for car buying, because they're all in one place. There's a lot of car dealerships on Sahara, but a lot of them are moving away from there. They're starting to scatter. That's kind of the old Auto Mall in a sense, but because it is old, a lot of people are moving their businesses out of there and moving them kind of to solo spots. There's a lot of them up and down the 215 now on the west side. They have moved from Sahara. So I'm gonna stop the video here. And then I'm going to re-pick up back on Pecos of where I showed you earlier that it's going to be the western boundary. All right, party people. I kind of changed my mind here again. I decided, well, I want to point out real quick, here's Sunset Station to the left here, big tower. But I decided again to change my mind. Things don't always go as planned. I'm running short with time again. And I said I was going to start back from the point I last left off at. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to come from basically eastern Henderson, kind of. Go down Russell, and then take a left on Pecos and end up back at where I last took off at. So, because I had to go that way anyways, and I would have had to backtrack and all this. So, the northernmost boundary of Las Vegas is Russell. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. The northernmost boundary of Henderson is Russell. So Russell and Pecos make up the north and west boundaries of Henderson. So that's where I'm heading now. It's not too far away. I'm going to take the freeway, however. Because this is no turn on red, I probably can get through a little faster by going down Marks. So it's a very busy shopping area over here. Oops, it's starting to fall. I'm sure that's not going to fall. To the left over here is the Galleria Mall. You can't really see it, so I'm not going to pan over there. One of the more major malls here. I'm getting a wreck. And here's the other Costco. Costco I frequent. Galleria Road. This is 95. As you can see the sign over here to the right, 95/515/93. We just call it the 95. What these people do. When I first moved here, I used to have to deal with some customers on the phone. I had to give them instructions to one of our offices, and I always had to tell them where the location was, and I'd describe coming down the 95, coming down the 515. I'd say our address is at this intersection at 515, and they'd be like, where? 515? Over and over again. They got so puzzled. And no one here knows it's the 515. It used to be Highway 95, but then they got federal funding, so it became 515. Just like in my biking video that I'm either released shortly after this or right before, I took some video of the area south. Right over here. Almost forgot where I was going for a second. the boundary of Vegas and Henderson north-south. A lot of improvement to this intersection. You see all the little artwork they have. You see a little statuesque looking rusty thing right here. Kind of put these in. They light up at night. It's pretty cool. And a lot of these intersections do here, they did a lot of improvements, which is nice. Something about Vegas I like is that there's always, particularly the roads. The roads here are awesome. I think they're some of the best I've seen in the country. We tend to upkeep them a lot. Other thing it probably helps is the weather is so dry here. We don't have a lot of potholes. I mean, it's probably the least pothole place I've ever seen. So, and just constant improvements to keep the tourist viability up. But they've even improved a lot of stuff that wasn't improved before lately in the last couple of years. Car. It's just the base model. I love the base model. I don't even need the fancy one. 700 horsepower. What's someone gonna do with that? Really? Die. I think this car will kill me. Nellis Boulevard, this is the ending point, and this will take you all the way, guess where? To Nellis Air Force Base. Home of the Thunderbirds. Pretty awesome to watch them. Never have. Stratosphere peeking through the street through here. Actually, that's not the Stratosphere. That looks like a weird placement for the Stratosphere. That's actually a air traffic control tower. Forgot about it. Which would make sense because Russell runs straight into the airport. coming up to Pecos. One thing I'm gonna do real quick is I'm gonna go into the Vegas area real quick. But this is literally the corner of Henderson versus Vegas. Everything else outside the left corner, southeast corner, is all Vegas that you're looking at. Turning into Vegas now. I'm gonna go this way to Sunset because it's only up one major street. I'm just gonna show you real quick Wayne Newton's house, or what used to be his house. He sold it. He went bankrupt a couple of years back, at least, probably 5 years now. Seems like a couple of years. I mean, it's probably been twice as long from memory. And wait, I just went the wrong way. I just realized. Haha, Sunset's the other way, so I didn't need to go this way. Lost my bearing for a second. Yeah, he went bankrupt and had to sell off his estate, which he had lived in for like 30 years or something. So this whole time he'd always lived down here in Henderson. I don't know why I was going that way. Even living here after 12 years, sometimes I get lost. Here at this intersection on the right, the south right, which south is across the intersection. On the south right corner is Wayne Newton's crib. It's going to say Shenandoah, Casa de Shenandoah. Good, we get a stop here because light change, so you get a good look at it. Oh, I thought it always said that too. It must have taken down the name as well. It used to say it right there underneath the little feathers there. I can't remember what was there. I thought it was another horse or something, but it used to say Casa de Shenandoah. And so this whole like block is his. What's his anyways. You can see it as we get down past this brick wall on the right. It starts to open up with some sheer fencing, so you can see through it. You can see the estate a little bit. He had several houses on here in addition to his main home. More stables. It's probably like, I don't know. I have no clue how big it is. I think that's 40 acres. Let's see, when we pull off, I'll try to pan over. See all the fancy fencing here. Try to get it up there so you can see. imagine what type of lifestyle you're living to have been as successful as Wayne Newton, to be in the later stages of your life to actually lose the house. I'm not sure what type of spending you were doing. So, problems I can't understand. So, yep. Again, Pecos right here, right side Vegas, left side Henderson. And there may be some of this that I might be a little off on, but where there might be a street that crossed over, because I've heard a little bit that it's not so clear over here, but I'm pretty certain that for all practical purposes, Vegas right, Henderson left. So there's Warm Springs here. I'm gonna connect up with that road here shortly, because I'm actually taking this rental car back, so. Coming back to the point where I left off of the video earlier, when I said I would come back to this point. Basically, this would be the intersection we're coming up to of Pecos and 215.
What is it, a DeVille? Nice. Like 78, 67, okay. Cool, I like it.
Alright folks, this is where I'm going to leave the video. Because I'm actually leaving Henderson now. I'm actually in Las Vegas now. And I'll try to do another video on, we'll just call this one the western half of Henderson. And I'll try to do another one the eastern half of Henderson. It may be a while, but I will eventually get to it. I'll get to a lot of topics here on the Vegas Venture. You guys have a great day.